Do you need some time to relax? Relax. Some time to let loose? Let loose. And come on down to Hawk Peak Provincial Park. Go on an adventure and travel on one of our many trails, including the famous Hawk Peak Trail. Hawk Peak Trail. So take a short hike or even a flight at Hawk Peak Provincial Park. Buy your tickets today. Alright, I think that this game will do the trick for your company this time. Are you even listening to me?
What? Oh, it's you again. Yeah, sorry, that game looks so boring that I fell asleep 30 minutes ago.
I've only been here for 10 minutes.
That's more or less the same thing here.
What's that even mean?
Listen, kid, do you even know what we do here?
What?
Why don't you just leave then?
Oh, okay then. Sorry for the trouble. Hey, wait a minute. Hi, it's Ipie. It seems that I've been fooled once again attempting to spread the word of the relaxing indie game genre. Yeah, I was rejected by that weird guy again. So I'm guessing I'm gonna have to dump my thoughts about this game in particular to the first poor sap that I see. I'm talking about A Short Hike today. A Short Hike released on April 5th, 2019, and according to Wikipedia, had a team of around 4 people. Oh my god. I will never not be impressed by small indie teams. All the respect in the world to these guys. Adam Grew, I probably said that wrong. If I did, and I apologize, has a website, appropriately called Adam's Cool Website, and has his itch.io page that shows that he's worked on a few projects before. Ooh, a Paper Mario inspired game. Nice. Anyway, when it came to actually making A Short Hike, according to a developer interview, the idea for this game actually came from trying to translate the exhilarating feeling of reaching the peak of a mountain after a hike into
video game format.
Don't know where that came from. It seems to have planted the seed that the concept of a game that's very heavy on navigation and exploration, especially of a mountain, might be worth, well, exploring. So that rounds out the development story. So let's use that buttery smooth transition and talk about the game story. We follow this bird person named Claire who's going on a trip with her Aunt May. Her aunt's actually a ranger at the Hawk Peak Provincial Park, at the aptly named Hawk Peak Island. Claire is waiting on a call for someone. It isn't actually explained until the very end, but we know that it's important to her. But of course, she doesn't get any signal, which, makes sense. I mean, you're on a nature reserve on some island that's supposedly at least a little bit away from civilization. What did you think would happen? Aunt May suggests that Claire climbs Hawk Peak, the island's namesake, and also happens to be the highest point. And that's the story. It's pretty simple, especially after my last video. But it really does do the job. Not only does it give Claire the motivation to take an admittedly pretty dangerous hike, but also gives the player some intrigue to push them along as well. What call would be so important to Claire that she'd be willing to take such a hike? I guess we're gonna have to play the game to find out now, won't you? I feel like, while we're on the subject, I should mention that the writing in this game is actually pretty charming. I know that I say that for every single game that I've talked about so far, but I wouldn't say if it wasn't true, dang it. Claire's reactions, the ways that characters interact, some random kid on the beach that you can constantly ask how to flap your wings and you'll just get more and more pissed the more you ask. All of it just gives me a huge smile on my face. But now let's talk about gameplay. The most important part of a game. Your primary goal, of course, is to reach the top of Hawk Peak. But how exactly are you intending on getting up there? Well, it's through the game's primary collectible known as golden feathers. Think of this as your stamina meter. These feathers fundamentally improve your vertical, aerial, and land locomotion. An extra jump will use up a feather immediately, but both climbing and running will remove a feather at a slow but still consistent pace. But don't worry, your golden feathers will slowly regenerate when you rest on the ground. But the game may or may not change that up. I don't know, I guess you're going to have to play it and see. There are a few ways that you can actually get these feathers. The first and immediate way is to buy them from the gift shop, but he'll eventually run out because some freaking loser scalped the rest of them. He jacks up the price significantly too. This guy sucks. But if you don't want to get scammed by this stupid little... Sorry, I'm a Nintendo fan. This kind of thing is very important to me. Anyway, worry not, because there's other, frankly more fun ways to get golden feathers. They can be found in countless nooks and crannies throughout the island, and you might also get one as a reward for helping someone. You can also get items that will help you find golden feathers as well, like a compass to help you find your way, which is really hard to miss by the way, and a shovel that will dig stuff up, a fishing rod to fish stuff up, and a stick. It doesn't seem to do an awful lot on the surface. I thought I could hit this kid with the stick, but the game just won't let me. Dang you, game. Dang you. I also feel like I should mention that this game just feels outstanding to play. and not just running around. Climbing makes navigating heights really fun, especially mixed with multiple jumps. And the gliding. Oh man, the gliding. I think that this game has my favorite feeling gliding mechanic in any game I've ever played. Oh my god, I swear, it's like cutting through a wall of butter with a flaming sword. It's great. One thing I will say, however, is that you're playing on PC like I was, I would highly recommend using a controller instead of a mouse and keyboard. You use the arrow keys by default to run through this 3D space, which obviously a lot of games do, but this game just feels so much better with a controller. Especially because in order to tilt the camera you need to use the mouse, but your right hand would already be occupied with the arrow keys. It just feels so much better to use the right stick in my opinion. I will say though that the camera will most likely be fixed and it works really well and it never really glitched out for me. So the camera controls are instead used to temporarily tilt the camera to peek around for secrets. Speaking of secrets, nooks, crannies, etc., there is just so much fun stuff hidden on this island. From the aforementioned extra gold feathers to the general fun side quests to spend your time on, to even the secret passages in the form of broken down mines that act as fast travels to the other side of the island. Now you'll ever need those though when you can just zoom through the air. And while you're soaring through the sky, you can bet your bottom dollar you're going to be hearing some great music. Not only is the soundtrack just great in general, but there's also alternate tracks that will play if you're flying. I'm always super impressed by adaptive music like that. I think my favorite musical moment, however, is at the end of the game, where the higher you climb, the more intense the music is to match the rising tension. Especially funny in my case because I kept falling down and the music will become more tame in return, only for the orchestra to swell up again as I struggle to get back up. Ironically, I don't have a good transition for this one, but I do want to talk about the game's visuals a little bit. The immediate thing that you'll notice by looking at footage of this game, or even just screenshots for that matter, is that there's this pixel effect filter thing. I don't actually know what it would be called, but it gives this game a pretty unique look. The bulkiness of all the models and general feel of the visual style kind of reminds me of GameCube games like Animal Crossing and Wind Waker. Actually, there's a lot of visual details that are very Animal Crossing-like, such as the shadows of the fish in the water or the markings that show that you can dig something up. I also really like how something's super far away, it's shaded beige and brown like some kind of old map or something. Overall, I think the best way to describe the visuals in this game is that it's very cozy. It definitely has this very early 2000s kind of nostalgia to it. And that's all I have to say about A Short Hike. I know it wasn't an awful lot, but that's kind of because this game is pretty simple at its heart. And it isn't called A Short Hike for nothing. You could actually feasibly finish this game in one sitting. But completing everything else like nabbing all the collectibles and helping everyone out would take a little bit longer. Bottom line, this game is just so much fun. And I would go as far as to say that you need to play it. It's pretty much on every conceivable platform, and it's only $8. So go ahead and give it a shot. I promise it'd be worth your time. But I still have this weird feeling that I need to do something. Oh yeah, that's right. You think that you can confuse me with your weird but admittedly cool sunglasses? You can't. Or at least for not that long. When I get over there, I tell you. Whoa! Hey, it's me. Wanted to get this one out last month, but unfortunately I wasn't able to. However, my next script is written, and I hope that you turn up for it. Also, I'm running out of ideas, so please give me something to work with. If you can, of course. And if you've made it this far, I won't dilly-dally anymore. I hope you enjoyed, and Ipie is signing out. Adios.